Profit First for Real Estate Investors. Mike McCallowitz wrote the original version. I remember being with you when you were going through the drafts back at when it was the old family reunion down in Tampa, this
Yeah.
many years ago, and just how you've been able to continue to just present this to real estate investors who've needed it so badly. Because I feel like entrepreneurs are like the worst about this kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
super excited to have you. The floor is yours, my friend. If you want us to ask you questions, just let us know when you're ready for that. Otherwise, take it away.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate that. I'll do a quick Q&A session at the end just in case there's anything there, but I am going to cover just the foundation of profit first. And if you're like, what the heck is profit first? It's like, you are going to cover that and we're going to make sure that you have it in your business and that you're paying yourself. And it's a lot of the things that you've probably already heard before. So we're going to go into that. Let me share my screen and we'll dive in. So here we go. I'm pretty sure it's showing. Yes, it is. Not my text messages this time. It's showing my how to keep profit. Here we go. So here it is. How to keep more profit without closing more deals. And honestly, just escaping the entrepreneur's trap. We get trapped in this just back and forth of like, we have money, we don't have money, where did it all go, all that stuff. My background is actually real estate investing. I know I look like I should be the bookkeeper accountant person. I'm literally talking to you about like finances, but my background is real estate investing because I was in a small business where we were doing about five wholesale deals a month. We scaled it to about 30 deals a month, 25, 30 deals a month, doing about 300 deals a year at our highest point. But we were spending, if we were doing 25 deals, we were spending 26 worth out the door. So it's like, who cares? Who cares that we're doing all these deals if it's going to, but I've seen that at many different levels. Four deals a month, one deal a month, like different types of businesses. It's like that whether they're doing six figures, seven figures, five figures, eight figures. Like I see lots of people make money but struggle because they don't have the other side of that equation. If you're going to make money, I want you to keep it as well too. And that's really what at the core of it, what Profit First is really teaching. It's teaching entrepreneurs how to keep more of what they're making without it being a super boring, incredibly like, oh my gosh, detail oriented, like let's go into QuickBooks. We're not even doing any of that. It's literally about cash. Where is it going? How do we keep more of it? And how can you, from even this one presentation, be more profitable from your next deal, sale, whatever it is that you're doing, while you're watching this and what you're going to be doing and closing. So here we go. Let's dive right into it. I always start with a story. Joey English, met him years ago at a mastermind event, and it was a small group of us there. And we was in Nevada, Las Vegas. He was standing in front of the room. 30 or 40 of us, and he started crying in front of everyone. Like, just, I don't know what I'm doing. I've been in the real estate and business for the last few years. And he's like, we've scaled up this last year. We did a lot of deals, but I just don't feel like we went any further. And he was just having lots of those types of feelings. So then after the event, we got on a Zoom call one on one, and he told me the real story, like more of the story and not just the generalities. So he said, I walked in my CPA's office. She said, looking at your books, I never get into real estate or the industry you're in. And he's like, why? Like, we did lots of deals this year. And she said, well, you actually lost $70,000 this year in your flip business. Like he was fixing and flipping and he had some rentals. She's like, you were doing the money shuffle game, robbing Peter to pay Paul to make sure that the flips are happening. And she said that ended up like in a $70,000 loss. And he felt like the wind had just got knocked out of him, like that she had just, roundhouse kicked him to the head. And that's where he said, I had to go home and tell my wife, Ashley, David, like while we were on that Zoom call, he was telling me this. And she was in the business with him that year. She was doing the deal transaction coordination and like making sure the deals were getting closed. Joey was at working 80, 90, 100-hour weeks. And, it was a really hard situation for him. And that's why he felt like, why am I even doing this? And he said to me on that Zoom call, he's like, David, I did more deals last year than I've ever done, but I lost more money than I've ever lost. He's like, I didn't think those two went together. That I'll never forget that because that's where we were. We were doing all those deals, but like losing the money and spending more than what was coming in. For Joey, it was just like the hustle, the grind, but like really not gaining any ground. If any, he went backwards, slid into the ground. That's what I don't want for you. That's why I love this message so much because by the end of this, whether you felt like Joey, before, or if you're new and you haven't felt like Joey yet in business, like this is how we can start to dig ourselves out of that hole. You don't have to be in this situation, and definitely doesn't have to be where you live. There might be periods and seasons of this in business where it's like you take 5 steps forward and 3 steps back. But what I'm saying is you don't have to go 5 steps forward and 10 steps back and go back further. We can build into our business healthy habits with our money. So that's what we're going to do. But a lot of us, we don't even know we're even doing something wrong. If you're watching this, whatever industry you're in, real estate, I don't know, a blue collar industry, whatever it might be, a lot of us think that whatever industry we are, that's the game that we're playing. But if you're in real estate, you're not playing the game of real estate. The end game that we're all playing is the game of money. And that's the real game that an entrepreneur plays, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're selling. But that's where, if we don't know what game we're playing, then we play to win the wrong game. So you could be really good at doing deals. Like real estate's a real easy one to show off in that example. It's like we could do 25 deals a month, but if we're spending 26 worth, it's no better than someone doing one deal a year. It's worse than someone doing one deal a year and they just have 50, 60% profit. Like we were doing worse because we were playing the wrong game. Joey was playing the wrong game. I don't want that for you because when you do, you end up looking like a lot of people that I talk to. They make money but feel broke. They look good on the outside, but they don't have anything to show for it. And that's where I hear that statement so much in so many different ways. Like, I make money but feel broke, or I made some money last year and it all, but where did it all go? Or like, what's happening? Like, we are growing and scaling, but I feel like we're going backwards. Like, I hear it in so many different angles in so many different ways. And if that's where you are, that's where I can help you dig out of that hole. Not just me. It's like this whole process that I'm going to show you that you're going to be able to do it just with the system. But I think the root problem that a lot of us have that gets us into the mindset, to get us not in the mindset, but into the actual physical place of I make money but feel broke, is that we think income solves all problems. I believe that to an extent, but I believe it's a half truth. If you're going to have income, you have to have the skill to keep it as well too. You do not have to be a bookkeeper though, a CPA, an accountant, a nerdy looking person like myself. Like you do not have to be that. You just have to be the entrepreneur that goes out there, can make the money, but then at least has some good systems and principles in place to make sure you're keeping it. That's what I want for you because otherwise you end up, like I said, like this. You make money but feel broke and look like, hey, you look like $1 million, but you have negative 1 million in the bank. I don't know if you've ever played this, whether you're watching this live or if you're watching this recording, but I love this game, Cash Flow 101 from Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, of that fame. Fun fact, he actually wrote the book to sell the game, but obviously the book became the smash best-selling book of all time in the personal finance space. But this is where in this game, you literally have that wheel in the middle. You can see there, you spend 90% of the game there because you're trying to get out of the rat race, which is the middle part, the middle circle, get to the outside edge, which is the fun track or financial freedom. Put whatever word you want there, like whatever financial freedom means to you, that's what that fun track is. This is our life, though, as entrepreneurs. This is not just your life as a W-2 employee. This is like what a lot of entrepreneurs jump into. And I love saying it like this for the real estate space, especially, is that a lot of us trade our W-2 paycheck to paycheck living for deal to deal living. Literally, there's little green spaces that say big or small deal that help us get to the outside track, but you have to have passive income, meaning your expenses are so low that your income from the passive investments gets you to where you don't have to work anymore. And it's like that's the true power of learning this game, but also implementing profit first. Is you're not just making more money, you're not just landing on the green spaces, you're also learning how to control what goes out as well too. And a lot of people don't know what goes out the door. A lot of people don't know what comes in the door. A lot of people don't know what you get to put in your pocket. That's what I want to help you with today with good habits with your money. So that way you know exactly where the money's going and how much you get to actually put in your pocket and take home. Because you're the small business hero, right? You're like the backbone, especially if we live in America, like we are the backbone of the economy. Is we provide, I think, more than 50% of like all the jobs across America is in small business. Plus, especially if you're in the real estate world, if you're in the real estate world, you're providing one of the four core tenants, right? Like you're providing a roof over someone's head. That's where I want you to not have to stop real estate. Thankfully, Joey didn't stop. Like that 1 year did not kill him. He actually had a little bit of reserves in place and stuff like that. But this is where I want you to be able to not land. Like if you're going to go out there and fly in the sky like that superhero, like a lot of people have to land on the ground because the money grounds them. I don't want that for you. I want you to go out there, make the money. Brian is here to help you make that money. And like a group like this is great to be able to do that. And I want you to also keep it as well. If you're going to put all the time and effort to learn to do these things, for the love of God, I want you to have something to show for it as well too. Like you go out there and make things happen. So here we go. Number one is find what you need to keep. I start here very specifically because numbers two and three are the practical. Here's like the one, two, three step of implementing profit first. But I need to point you in the right direction first. I want you to find what you need physically, like monetarily on a monthly or a weekly basis that you need to take from the business. That's what I'm talking about. Find what you need to keep. I'll also explain it like this too. Why did you start whatever you're doing? Why did you start your business? Why are you getting into real estate? Why are you getting into, being an entrepreneur, whatever that you're doing? That's where I want you to take a good hard look at this question and think about it. Now, you might not give me an answer now. You might not even have a great answer right now. You might say financial freedom. To me, that's not a great answer. You know why? Because everyone can say financial freedom. But what's financial freedom mean to you? Do you have kids? Do you not have kids? Do you have a spouse? Do you have parents that you're taking care of or not? Like, this is where the why of who you are has to be connected to this. So that way, when you keep the money, you actually know why you're keeping it. And this is why I'm so adamant of bringing this first because I want you to know why you started your business and keep that in front of you. I love this story. That's my daughter Eleanor. There was I tell this from the book Crucial Conversations, which is an incredible book. I highly recommend reading it. Crucial Conversations. In chapter 10, it's called Retaking Your Pen. And they say that when we're born, the authors, they say that we're born with our pen in our hands. That represents our self-worth and we write our own story, and that's where when you're really tiny, when my daughter Eleanor was 4 and younger, like ask a billion questions, still ask a billion questions, but like dance is like nobody cares, just is full of life and energy and, curiosity and get a little bit older to school age and some of that gets tapered. It's like gets tapered off a little bit because we care. We care about what people think. My daughter had dress up day at school a couple years ago, Tacky Tourist Monday, because we live in Florida. And so that's where she went to school that morning and I drove her and she had all the little stuff on. She had a little fanny pack, a little hat, little sunglasses. She looked incredible, right? Then she's just chatting me up the whole way to school in the car. But 5 minutes from school, she gets real quiet. And I'm like, girl, what's going on here? And she said, Dad, do you really think it's the dress up day? Should I take this stuff off? Like, what if they laugh at me? And like in her little 6-year-old voice, and she looks like dressed, she's just in cute as all get out, right? But then she's letting other little snotty 6-year-olds dictate with, and use her pen and write her story for her. That doesn't get easier as we get older though, right? We go to high school, we go to college maybe, and then we go out there into the business world. And if you're an entrepreneur, like we like to compare ourselves a lot of times with other people and put us just on that same playing field. And then it gets really dangerous as an entrepreneur. You know why? Because then you do 25 deals a month and you think you're really cool. But you're spending 26 worth of deals out the door. Like that sucks. So that's what I don't want you to end up. We have to know how much do we need? I don't want anyone else dictating to me. I don't want some Facebook guru or some other person over here if I go to this big event, or this huge conference and they're all telling me I should be doing 1,000 deals a month. Like, what? It's like, no, how much do I need to do? Because I don't want you to just play the game of money, like I mentioned in the introduction. I want you to also make sure that you're playing your own game and not someone else's. That's why we were doing so many deals. We just wanted to pound our chest and say, look at what we're doing. And Joey, like why he wanted to scale and grow, that's basically the mantra of America. Like scale at all costs. If you're not scaling, what's wrong with you? That's not healthy though. That's not healthy. Like I want you to scale. I want you to grow, just not at all costs. Like I want to make sure that you get to where you want to go and that you like the journey as well too. So I break it down into find what you need to keep. What do you need? Your need number and your want number. Need would be like, what do I need to pay myself monthly? Your want number would be like, why did I start this thing? Like, how much do I actually want to take in a year from the business? And like, do I want some quarterly distributions or like, what do I really want? If it's 10,000 a month that I need, to live wherever you might live, what would 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 a month in your pocket do for you? That's where I want you to connect an actual number in your business to what you really want. And then we can have some systems to point to getting us those numbers and taking the money home. With Joey, we did one exercise with him, like found his keep number. That's part of what I give at the end here is like how to find your keep numbers, your need and want. It's a little one-page form. It's really easy to fill out, just helps you get some clarity. With Joey, he did that with his spouse, came back to me on a Zoom call and said, I filled this out with Ashley. And now we know how many deals we need to do next year in order to, hit our numbers. And I was like, how many? He's like, guess. I said, one a week or one a month. He's like, no. He's like, we need to do five deals total next year. Like, not five a month, not five a week, five total. He's like, that would get us to at least our need number. And so I was like, that was mind blowing to me. And to him, it was freeing. He's like, I don't need to do 80, 90, 100-hour weeks. Ashley doesn't have to work in the business and we can like what we do. So he slowed down to then speed up later on because now he's doing more deals than 5 deals a year. But that year was a turning point for him because he understood I need to build this business around what we need. Two and three are pretty quick. These are the implementation, and you can do this right from this, right from what I'm teaching right here. So, number two is create your wealth system. Here's what's not to do. Okay. This is what most entrepreneurs have. They have a big black hole bank account. Money comes in, money gets sucked down to the swirling vortex of doom, never to be seen again. I don't want that for you. This is where a lot of people don't have clarity in their business of what the money that is in the account right now, what is it for? Especially if you are in real estate. If you're in real estate, you could get other people's money. And then it's like you get money for a project or something, boom, your account inflates. And then you have that false sense of security because that's money not just to run the business, that's money to run a project. That's where I don't want you to do this, what most people have, this big black hole bank account. I want you to have individual bank accounts. That's what this is really the system is really easy. Like I'm not going to knock your socks off here today. What I want you to do though is plant a seed that turns into a huge money tree for you with some very simple principles and practical application. So what do? You open up checking accounts because it's just the envelope method. Profit first, the practical side. Profit first in theory is a lot like rich dad, poor dad, like pay yourself first. But they don't just have theory and profit first. That's why I love it. It's the practical side of how do I make this happen? How do I pay myself first? Well, guess what? We're going to set up bank accounts and we're going to name them and we're going to be very intentional with every dollar that flows through our fingers. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to give you the accounts that I recommend, but I'm also going to give you the first thing you could do from here if it seems a little bit overwhelming. All I'm asking you is to open up some bank accounts, but it's a little bit, there's about five that I want you to open up. But these are the three numbers that they help you focus on. How much came in? How much went out? How much do I get to keep? So I'm going to build the bank accounts around this structure. What's coming in, what's going out, cash, and what do I actually get to put in my pocket? So here's the bank accounts that are around this structure, the three most important numbers. Now that I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of business owners, I know these are the three that most business owners don't know. And they're the ones that if they do know, it provides a lot of clarity and a lot of peace of mind to know where's the issue. So I want to make sure you know these numbers. How do we do that? The Golden Trio bank accounts. The first three help you keep more of what you make. Just like in the big, there's the big epic sagas. Like, look at me. I love Harry Potter and Star Wars. It's like you got the three main heroes. You've got Luke, Han, Leia, Harry, Ron, Hermione, making sure good wins in the end. Your business is so much more important than these epic sagas, but they should take a note from it of like, there should be these heroes that are helping you on the journey. So here we go. The first three that I would open up. Practical application here. Open up a profit checking bank, a business checking account, an owner's comp checking account, business checking account, and an owner's tax business checking account. These are all business bank accounts that you open up. They're separate from each other. and they help you focus on profit, owner's comp, and owner's tax. Profit is like your why account. Why did I start this dang thing? Why did I start the business? Then the owner's comp is more of like the need number. What do I need from the business? Being able to pay yourself consistently from the owner's comp account. Owner's tax is a peace of mind account. Like if it's tax time, like when we're recording this right now, it's right in the thick of tax time. And a lot of people are like, what am I going to do? Or like maybe I should extend, or now I've got this huge tax bill, especially if you're a first-time entrepreneur that hasn't been around the block. You might get slapped with a tax bill because you actually made some money and no one was taking it out for you and the government wasn't already processing it. That's where it provides peace of mind from everything that you do goes into a little bit, goes into the owner's tax bucket. So at tax time, you can pay the taxes. These are the three first accounts that I would open up because they all help you keep more of it. Profit and owner's comp are different. In profit, I would take quarterly. Owner's comp would be more like weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. It's more to pay you, to put food on the table and make sure that you're actually getting paid from the business. Other foundational accounts, income and OPEX. These are the make and spend accounts. The first three were helping you keep more. Income, I would separate out from OPEX, which is operational expenses or all the outflow of the money. This used to be your black hole bank account. Now I want you to separate out income from it so that way you can see how much is coming in, how much am I really making. Then how much am I spending from OPEX? And then the keep accounts is how much do I actually get to put in my pocket. Now I will say if you are in real estate or any type of industry that you take money from someone else to like finish a project, that's what I would also set up an OPM account. Outside of this structure, where it's kind of its own bank account, it's an account that's literally there to take other people's money to use for projects or rehabs or whatever it might be. So that way you're not commingling the first five accounts that help you run the business and that one account to help you run projects or stuff like that. So I need to always make sure I give that one an honorable mention because if you are in any type of industry like that, or especially in real estate, that's another foundational account, that OPM. And if you're like, good God, that was a lot of accounts, all you got to do from here, what I'm trying to teach you is at the end of the day, I want you to keep more. Can you open up one account and transfer 1%? Like other than your main bank account that you have now. Like do something from this that helps you to plant that seed of good money habits. That's all I'm trying to do today is help you plant that seed. Now, if you go out and do the whole thing, great. Then you're going to start a little forest versus just one seed. So I want you to just start where you can, whether this is like that one account or if you go out there and do all the foundational accounts. Joey always sends me a picture of now, like, these are the accounts. I have clarity. I would never go back to one account. Number three, to end it and land the plane here, build wealth habits and keep more. So once you have the account set up, it's not just good enough to play your own game, play the game of money, and set it up to win. We now need to play it consistently to win. And like, what do we do weekly, monthly, and quarterly with our money? Very simple. No matter if you're a business owner who hates the finances or doesn't like talking about, that side of the business or anything like that, like what can you do honestly to have the system run for you on 15 minutes a week or less? Like, I don't want this to take a ton of your time. So I want you to set it up, get it in place, and then run it as a system on a continuous basis. So how do we do that? Every week I would move your money. And you say, how much do I need to move? Well, that's a great question because when you start, you might be able to move lots of money into profit or not. It's like start where you can. I will give you some goals though of where to move the money. These are called TAPs or target allocation percentages, meaning these are the goal percentages based on the size of your business. That's the different columns, A to F, from 0 to 250 to all the way up to 10 to 50 million. Like those are how much you're making or what's your revenue or real revenue or gross profit. We can't go into all that right now, but how much are you actually making top line in your business? How much income is coming in? Then from there, these are the different percentages that I was just giving you for the different bank accounts. I just gave you the bank accounts, profit, owner's comp, owner's pay, the tax, the operating expenses. These are the goal percentages based on the size of your business. You might have to start differently though, especially if you're already down the road and you already have a business. You might only be able to do 1% to profit, owner's pay, and the tax account, where 97% might have to go to OPEX. Or if you're like, David, I don't even know if I can start this. I'm spending more than I'm making. This is why you have to start something like this to build yourself out of that hole and dig it yourself out. And we got to build back to where you actually have a healthy business. So that's what I want to do here with this thing and this specifically the taps. This is something for you to be a good goalpost of how healthy am I cash wise. I also give one if you have rentals as well too. That's part of the download. At the end, I do a little cheat sheet that gives the target allocation percentages and for selling a property or buying and holding it, or just if you're a general business outside of real estate. So that's every week, move it. Every month, I'd review your money. You say, David, I thought this wasn't going to be a boring presentation. Now, when I say review it, I'm not saying you got to go in and dive it. No, what I'm saying is look at your bank account and the structure. Make, spend, and keep. Like that's what we're looking for. How much came in last month? How much did I spend? How much was I able to put in my pocket? Most people cannot do that. Most people cannot look and simply look at their bank accounts and be able to give some sort of like what happened so that way next month can either be better or like we're on the same path. That's where I want to give you at least a little bit of a head start there. Every month, review your money. Every quarter, take your money. This is my favorite slide. You know why? Because you build a business not for it to become a cash eating monster. You built this business in order to have it pay you and be able to do the fun things that you want to do with the business. That's what every single quarter I would take up to 50% out of the profit account and do whatever the heck you want with it. You could be like some clients that we have, not Joey, but someone else, where it's not Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is not my client either. But that's where we had a client that loves Taylor Swift, woke up one morning with their family. The mom is a huge Swiftie, the daughter's a huge Swiftie, the husband and brother tagged along, but they bought the tickets last year. It was an incredible amount of money that they had to spend because it was the day of, and they went there and they made this family memory. But I've heard stuff, not just Taylor Swift, but like a couch or like one of the first clients that I ever worked with moved to Portugal because he had like a great quarter and then he wanted to always live there. It's like, I don't care what it is, but like the money should fuel the things that you like and that you love. And that's what I want for you on a quarterly basis to feel like this is worth it. I'm actually keeping what I make. So that's what I want for you. So let's circle back around to this. Why did you start your business? Like I said, not to become a cash eating monster. Brian, there's a guy that we both know in the masterminds that we attend. I actually met him several years ago before family, and he came up to me and he was like, David, I'm having some issues with the cash flow. I heard you're in profit first, and I want to, I need some help. So I gave him the book, and that was about it. I gave him the book, and we parted ways. And I'm like, just for the love of God, do something with this. Well, I saw him at a mastermind last year and he walked up to me. He's like, David, I wish I would have done something with this. He's like, I had to make a decision at the beginning of the year whether to let everyone go or declare bankruptcy. This was like 2 years after I had met him, where in those 2 years, he could have been laying a good financial foundation, keeping more of the money, and like simple stuff that I've seen because I've also seen it on the other side, people that actually implement it. But this is where now I'm just like, this is avoidable. He didn't have to be insolvent. He didn't have to give up on the business. Like, because he just, if he would have implemented just one of these things. I had a guy to counteract this story and not even give you Joey's end of the story, but another guy 2 months ago in December heard me a year before, implemented one of the accounts, and he's like, I've never had business reserves before, but now I have 6 months in that one account just because I got almost addicted to like, I want to make sure that the business is healthy and that I'm not just flying by the seat of my pants anymore. And that's where Joey's been on this journey for years now. Last year, he bought an RV and spent 3 weeks with his family because he did enough deals to do that, kept enough, and actually had time. And then also gave to this camp for kids 71,000, which when he sent me this text message of how much he gave, I picked up the phone, called him. I'm like, Joey, that's incredible. Like, does that number ring a bell? And he's like, what do you mean? I said, do you remember how much you lost when we first started talking years ago? He's like, oh, Dane, yeah, I lost $70,000. I'm like, yes. And last year you gave more than what you lost. And I'm like, this is why I do what I do. And this is why I love when people like Joey jump on the bandwagon and say, how do I keep more of what I'm making? Because I'm tired of sitting in my own rat race. So here we go. That's what I want for you. There'll be an altar call now. Just kidding. Now, here we go. I want to go to the last few slides. This is just literally about what we do if you need hand holding. This is not a sales pitch. This is literally like, can I help you? Great. If not, I'm going to give you a cheat sheet and the book. If you're newer and you're just getting started, like I also have, get the book and the cheat sheet as well. Because like what we do is a financial GPS. A lot of people are bookkeepers, CPAs, they're rear view mirrors. A CFO, I run a part-time CFO company or a fractional CFO that helps you see where you're going with your money and helps you implement profit first. So we lead the financial team. We make sure you're winning the game of money, all that stuff. Put more money in your pocket. We also do the boring stuff too, which is more the necessities, but it's on our plate, like business budgeting, forecasting, debt pay downs, reports, the expense control, actually explaining and translating what all the other financial people are talking about and making sure that you understand and become a savvy business owner. But no matter what, if you're here, you're watching this later, if you're part of Brian's thing, I just want you to have these no matter what. My book, Profit First for Real Estate Investing, the ebook and audiobook, also a cheat sheet. Because I'm like, okay, I gave you the book, but it's like 200 pages. If you want the one-page cheat sheet that basically is like the overview, that's what I also give with the little links and stuff too to help you set up the accounts and just some of the main questions that I get, are usually answered on that cheat sheet if you're looking to start Profit First. That's is what we do when I boil it down. It's three things. We lay the financial foundation. So CFO leads your financial team. Make sure you have the right bookkeeper. We implement profit first, and we set up a dashboard, which is taking all the jumbled numbers in QuickBooks and all the other things and putting it into a very easy to read format to say, where the heck are we going? And are we on the right path? And do I get to put more money in my pocket? I want you to be able to say that as an owner. So then if you book a call, we'll point you in the right direction because a lot of people just don't have a financial person in their life or the right financial person. I'm actually taking the calls this week. So if you want to talk to me, then you can book a call, but that's how you can get that. The little QR code there or simplecfo.com/BT. And that's how you can get the book, the little cheat sheet. And then on the second page, if you want to schedule a call with me, great. I'll talk to you for 45 minutes and just diagnose where you are. If we are a good fit, I'll tell you what Simple CFO is all about. If we're not, then I'm probably going to be pinging you to someone in my network of the financial people that I know. So that's how I can help. But if anything, let me recap it all with one thing. Go out there, open one account, transfer 1% on a weekly basis, and make sure you get into the habit. Make profit a habit in your business, not just a one-time event. So this is the link there if you want that stuff. And now, Brian, do you want to do Q&A and just go right into that? Because now I'm done with the presentation.
David, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. I think the something that really resonated with me was the black hole bank account of the one expense. That's my expense account, right? Or that's where like all the expenses come out, and you do get, or I'll just speak for me, I do get a false sense of security a lot, especially you're talking about using other people's money for projects. You do a really big deal and there's a lot of money in this expense account. Obviously, I'll take a little bit for my personal expenses and personal needs, but there's no consistency, right? And there's no rhyme or reason. There's no consistent like I'm gonna take this exact amount and make it, uniform. This is something I've heard about and should have done, but that just really resonated with me. And I'm going today. I'm gonna set up at least one more bank account at my bank so I can start implementing this a little bit better for sure.
Good. I like hearing that. It's so funny, Brian. You know the groups we're a part of and everything. Like I've been on so many of these and I've come back on people's and it's like the person running the group has been like, this has been working great. Like I wish we would have had it years ago. And I'm like, yes, please, just I wanted this for you and for anyone listening. It's like it's so simple, but we don't get taught this anywhere really. And even in the Rich Dad Poor Dad books, it's a good theory. That's why I love this. It's practical. Like this is what you can go and do.
I think, also you're specifically talking about real estate, you get a lot of people who were we were never really entrepreneurs to begin with. And then
Mm.
it's like we're starting to invest in some real estate. Maybe we bought a house. Maybe we did, oh, wholesaling looks cool. Maybe I'll do a wholesale deal or oh, let me try to do a flip or two. But
Yeah.
none of that is like a business. All that is it's just an extra job, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know that, I mean, you're really the first person who's kind of maybe taken charge of our industry and saying, hey, you know what? We do have these are businesses, right? Even though you're fixing and flipping houses and it's probably mostly you, you're wholesaling and it might be mostly you, but let's actually like run this thing like a business from the financial side. I've heard a lot, obviously, the traction part of it. Let's run it like a business, try to get you out of it. Going back to you, you've mentioned Robert Kiyosaki, where everyone talks about Rich Dad Poor Dad, but Cash Flow Quadrant was always my favorite one, like his
Yeah.
second book, where it talks about how you've got you're an employee or you're self-employed, or you're on the other side of the quadrant where you're a business owner or you're an investor. And it's that other side of the quadrant where it's like the difference between being a business owner and self-employed person is the business owner, it's mostly systems and processes that are running the thing, not you. So
Yeah.
I've always heard that. I've always tried to implement that, but I've never tried to implement it from the CFO side, from the money side.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I feel like this is a really important presentation, especially for real estate investors.
Yeah, I've seen it now. We work with like 100 on an ongoing basis, and like I've worked with, lots of people, and I just see it all the time. Everyone's a little microcosm of where we were years ago. I just see that all the time. We were doing so many deals, but spending so much. It's like people just they get tripped up because they are good at making the money, or like they fall into real estate, like you said, and it's like, oh, we did a first deal and then we did another, and like, oh, I kind of like this thing. That's where I want it to be like if then treat it like a business. Then if you're going to make it, part of being a good business owner is being able to keep it as well too. So that's what just trying to get that out there. And I appreciate, those kind words because yes, I'm
Yeah.
trying to get people to realize that they're a business owner.
It doesn't look like we have any questions unless anyone has like a last minute something that they want to ask. David, I'm looking at our YouTube chat right now. I'm looking at, obviously the few folks that have joined us live. It doesn't look like we have any questions, but if you do have a question for David in the future, I'll make sure that I tag him like on our YouTube videos. I'll ask the question and tag him, and maybe he can come in there and jump in and answer the question for us. David, thank you so much for taking your time to speak to our community, the Alabama real estate investors. We really appreciate you, and hopefully we'll see you soon down the road. I'm coming to Florida in a few weeks, or maybe in a month and a half, to go to a Tom Kroll event. I don't know if you're
Oh,
planning on doing something like that, but maybe we should hook up for sure.
sounds good. Thanks, Brian.